Welcome to Math to Find. Today we're going to learn how to add integers using some very simple rules. First, let's talk about what integers are. Integers are whole numbers and their opposites, including 0. So we're talking about numbers like -5, -2, 0, 1, 4, and its opposite, -4. When it comes to adding these numbers, we have some rules to follow to make it super easy. Rule number 1. When the integers have the same signs, add and keep the sign. Let's look at this first problem, 8 plus 4. Since both of these integers are positive, we add them together and keep the positive sign, resulting in positive 12. Problem number 2 has two negative integers, -2 plus -5. Again, both of these integers have the same sign. We add and keep the negative sign. 2 plus 5 is 7, and we keep the negative sign, resulting in -7. Seems pretty simple. Let's keep going. Rule number 2. When the signs are different, subtract, then keep the sign of the integer with the larger absolute value. Looking at problem number 3, we have positive 14 added to -5. The signs are different, so we subtract their absolute values. 14 minus 5 is 9. And since 14 has the larger absolute value, we keep the positive sign, resulting in positive 9. In problem number 4, we have positive 9 added to -11. Again, the signs are different, so we subtract their absolute values. 11 minus 9 is 2. Then, since 11 has the larger absolute value and it is negative, the sum of this expression will also be negative, resulting in -2. Here's a fun fact. Ancient mathematicians from civilizations like the Greeks and the Egyptians didn't even recognize negative numbers because they couldn't understand the idea of having less than nothing. It wasn't until the 7th century, when the Indian mathematician Brahmagupta came along, that negative numbers started to gain acceptance. He was one of the first to treat 0 as a number and to understand that subtracting a positive number from 0 gives a negative number. So next time you work with negative numbers, remember it took a long journey for them to be accepted in the world of mathematics. Now let's look at what happens when you add a pair of opposites, or the positive and negative value of the same integer, like we have here in problem number 5. Remember, since the signs are different, we subtract the absolute values, and 8 minus 8 is 0. This leads us to our last rule, rule number 3. Adding a pair of opposites will always result in a zero sum. This rule is so obvious that you might wonder why we even talk about it, and give it a special property name called the additive inverse property. The answer is variables. Since a variable is just an unknown number, we follow the same rules with variables as we do with integers. So since the signs are different, we subtract their absolute values. X minus x is 0. Now that we've learned the rules for adding integers, it's time to put those skills to the test with some practice problems. As we solve these together, we will review these 3 rules that we just talked about. Okay, starting with problem number 7, we have positive 13 plus positive 7. The signs are the same, so we just add and keep the sign. Positive 13 plus positive 7 is positive 20. Next, we have 0 plus -11. The signs are different, so we subtract and keep the sign of the larger absolute value. 11 minus 0 is 11, and since -11 has the larger absolute value, 0 plus -11 results in -11. Problem number 9 has a pair of opposites, positive 23 and -23. Adding a pair of opposites always results in 0. Moving on to problem number 10, we have positive 10 added to -15. The signs are different, so we subtract first and then keep the sign of the larger absolute value. 15 minus 10 is 5, and since -15 has the larger absolute value, our sum is -5. Problem 11 has two integers with the same sign. So we just add and keep the sign. 4 plus 6 is 10, and since both integers are negative, the sum is negative 10. And our last problem has a pair of variables that are opposites, negative y added to positive y. Following our rules, adding a pair of opposites always results in a zero sum. And there you have it. Adding integers is all about knowing the rules and practicing. Thanks for watching, and until next time, keep math awesome.